Guys, welcome back to my podcast. My name is Pauline Ochoto. I am your host in this is Beyond 9 to 5 podcast. It's nice to have you guys back. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I've not seen you guys in a while, and that is why I am here today alone. This podcast, today's episode, is just gonna be me and you. Yeah. So welcome, enjoy, and I will dive right into it. So this podcast's topic of today is tea. Yeah. So today's topic we're going to be talking about relationships at workplaces. I'm just not talking about platonic relationships. No. That's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about those romantic ones. You see, the ones that you call yourself, oh, I have a work husband, I have a work wife. That's what you're talking about. Yeah. So, first of all, I have a little story time. Before we get into this topic, I had the pleasure of talking to a few of my colleagues and friends. And from my research, what I could tell is that I'll give them a 70. A 70. I know it's not too high, but I'll give a 70% of everyone that I have talked to before doing this topic. They have been in a romantic relationship at work. Yeah. And I'm not just speaking here to, it's a story a friend told me just for the podcast. No, I actually asked these people, and most of them knew that I was coming to record this podcast, and that's why I was asking. So I am at leeway to tell you guys the findings of my topic. So 70% of everyone that I've interacted with on the matters of this topic, they've all been in the romantic relationships at work. And funny thing is, they wouldn't recommend it. They wouldn't highly recommend it, but it's something that, according to them, is inevitable. So, a little story time. So, a friend of mine was telling me about their romantic relationship at work, and it did not work, you know. Pun intended, but anyway, it did not work. And according to her, she feels like iko na mambo mingi, you know. I don't know if you guys agree. Just let me know on the comments as you're interacting. Let me know. As for me, because that's where the tea is, I have been on one and at the office, yeah, and I did not know how to navigate it. Unajua, it was the first relationship enye ilikuwa kwa ofisi, and I did not know how to navigate it at first. Okay, lucky for me, um, we have two offices. We had two offices. So this is a place that I used to work before, and we had two offices. So luckily, and I'm speaking about luckily, when me and this guy was starting out, he was in a different office. I was in a different office. Same organization though, and then eventually he had to shift to the office, office yetu now, the main headquarters, blah blah blah. And that's where the tea began, you know. That's where I learned about this romantic relationship at work. Saa zingine inakwanga na mambo mingi, you know. So what would happen was I would get to know of the small jealousy, you see. And it was so easy. So I don't know, it is so easy to tell when people are having a romantic relationship at work. Disclaimer, my place where I was working, it had no objection when it comes to romantic relationships at work. Like, I mean, I do not understand how corporate institution would actually have that rule. Personally, I do not understand why you would tell people not to associate with each other romantically, because it is inevitable. Like, it is not something out of the ordinary. And for that institution that I was working with, for them to have a policy of like, okay, it's fine, like you guys can mingle and whatever, there's no problem. I actually found it very refreshing. Not because I support romantic relationships at work. Do not get me wrong. It is because it is inevitable. Like your attraction to someone, especially someone that you see often, someone that you go to work events with, and all of that nonsense, it is so easy for you to get yourself in a position where you're romantically involved with this person. This is because also there's like familiarity. Unaelewa? Alafu, I do not, okay, I do not want to be caught in the wrong way, but tafadhali, kama ni hizo romantic relationships, ikwe between watu wenye wako single, tafadhali. Because the complication ni, unaanza kukuwa na work wife na work husband, na uko na husband at home na wife at home. Unaona mali hapo ni kizungumkuti? We're getting into it. So a lot of these romantic relationships, mimi wanga sielewi kwa ofisi venye mnaweza kosa kuongeleshana na mmetoka hao moja. Just make it make sense. So mmetoka kwa hao, you guys have slept together, mmekaa mko ofisi, you're pissed at each other, you're in the same office, everybody knows you're dating. Alafu sasa, like sisi watu wengine tunafaa kuwasaidiaje? Like make me understand. That is my first point. Like easy romantic relationships at the office, most of them, why other companies would be like, oh, don't be dating at the office, is because of what it brings kwa ofisi. You know, ila nye everyone already knows you're dating. So now when you have an issue, everybody knows because you guys are not even interacting. We are so used to seeing you guys go for lunch together. We are used to seeing you guys driving off from work pamoja. But all of a sudden, mmekasirikiana, this one goes this other side, this one goes this other side. And that's why I'm telling you, whatever helped me was the fact that me and my boo at the time, okay, tulikuwa kwa different offices. So a lot of these things we were able to navigate just because. But when we were brought back into the same space, you cannot ignore the fact that mnaweza kuwa mmekasirikiana na mko kwa ofisi moja. But the fact that nyinyi ni grown ups, tafadhali simfanye kazi. We can't be out here. You're in a work event, okay? You're with the work event, melewa, for example, because you would have a lot of informal settings and events, and where you guys would go out, and my work was fun. That's what I'm trying to say. And on those settings, you would find on more than one occasion people that were sleeping with each other, for lack of a better word, or had a romantic relationship, it would often like ina erupt. Sijui, okay, acha niseme hivi. Ushaenda kulewa na chali yako na mkakosana, inakuanga ngori. Inakuanga ngori. So imagine you're out, you're drunk with your lover at work, or the colleague that you're in love with, alafu mko kwa sherehe ya job, and then you get pissed at each other. And then in this kwa hii sherehe ya job, uko wewe na colleagues wako. Can you imagine how the scene is looking? Like you cannot avoid a mess when it comes to romantic relationships at work. That's what basically I'm trying to say. Like hiyo ni kitu huwezi avoid. So if you're planning to get into a relationship na msee mwenye ako job na wewe, you gotta find a way to make sure whatever is happening between you two does not get tangled sana na wasee wa job hadi ina affect venye unafanya job. Okay? Another thing about these romantic relationships at work. Chan kunyamaja, have a lot to say. A lot of the time, as a girl, I'm not speaking to the ladies, you need to understand that at no point is this man of yours going to get a backlash for dating you? Are we together? So be very, very careful with how you perceive that romantic relationship at work, because hata tukisema aje tusema aje, tujaribu kukua feminists, tujaribu kusema sijui nini, there's a wise guy that once told me that as much as I love women, I champion for women's rights and wrong. Like, if you would sit me on a table and I would be vouching for women and you're a guy, you'd probably be annoyed. So I stand by it. But my intention is to tell you that the way this world is run, it is run to purposely work for the good of a man. Like, this world is built for the benefit of men. So on more than one occasion, if you choose to go the route where you're dating a guy from work, you need to know that it comes with certain consequences, like, oh, you get somewhere because this guy has done this for you, blah, 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 blah. Yani, that is something you should be prepared for. So if you're choosing to go that route and dating that your man colleague who's probably higher in rank than you, a lot of the times your job is just being recognized by the virtue of fact that una date umse, so utakuwa like, oh, even when you get promotions and nini hizo vitu ndogo ndogo, office politics. I've worked in the corporate space for not a long time but quite some time. It's been I'd like to say 4 years now, 4 5, around there about. And it's the same politics kila mahali, like unaona sahi. Now where I've chosen to now settle in and completely like devote myself to work and blah blah blah, I have gone there with the fact and acceptance that a corporate space is a corporate space. Like, it's brutal, it's fucking brutal. And if you're a girl and you may choose to date your say at work who's probably at a higher rank than you, please be very, very, very careful, because mentally that is going to, it's going to make you feel some type of way, but because it's a choice that you made, you don't have to let it get you down so badly, because as long as wewe uko na huyo msee, uko na hiyo relationship and things are going well for you too, and the guy uko juu akufanya feel a certain way, na like, as long as unajua umeingia hapo, these are the consequences that are going to get you hapo kwa your relationship. Just putting it out there, because I don't think ni kitu unaweza zuia, you know. And in some other spaces you might get away with it, you know, maybe hakuna, but I doubt. Hebu nionyesheni ofisi yenye haina politics. Just tell me you work in a space where wewe hujai kwa bullied, hujai kwa in a fight with a colleague, not necessarily a fight, like a place yenye hujasikia political rumbles, propaganda, nini 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 nini. Just show me. That way you will be settled in knowing if you choose to date a person at work, consequences ndio hizi. Now, also, I'm going to dive into the topic of as long as you're dating at the office, some of the people that you guys, my darlings, my lovelies, gents, are choosing to interact with and be in a romantic relationship with are married men and married women. Yani, hiyo ni kitu ingine sijui vile tutaanzia, because I'm not one to judge. I'm not one to judge. But according to what I've researched and interactions zangu na wase wenye nimejaribu kuongelesha, a lot of these romantic relationships that are being done kwa ofisi are amongst married men and married women. Why? ni kwa nini. Just let me know ni kwa nini. Because I've tried to like understand, and one person alinipatia jibu akaniambia ati the reason as to why this happens is because ukikana mse hapa and somewhere else, like unaona kwa ofisi, I don't know how your offices are set up, so I'm just gonna use uh something in my head, my own imagination. So you sit here with a guy, you sit here with a chick, and there's a guy, and it's a whole whatever. So every time una kujanga tangu kwanza tuseme when ni mtu new, so you're married, you have kids, hizo vitu zote, so you choose kusema wacha nikwe na huyu colleague wako anaanza kwa beshte yako, huyu pia anaanza kwa beshte yako, and the cycle fucking continues. I keep cussing. So the cycle continues. The more you stay with this guy who's right next to you, there is a sense of building friendship. And sometimes when you're building friendships with colleagues, you might not have boundaries. Yeah, you might not have boundaries. So you might end up oversharing. Oversharing is the word. Because some of us are yappers. I mean, I'm a yapper. Why am I doing a podcast alone? That should give you enough reason for you to know that I talk, but at the office, trust me, I choose my battles. I know where to yap and where to shut up. Like, if you find me at the office, you're gonna be so surprised that I host a podcast. Like, utashanga. Yeah, for sure. You'd call me a snob, but I really don't care. I really don't. So, there's familiarity. Utaanza ku overshare. And if this guy or this lady that is seated next to you is an opportunist, you get me? They will be able to hear every single thing about your romantic relationship that is wrong because you overshare or you need someone to talk to. I don't know how we end up talking to colleagues about your romantic relationships. Like, sielewi vile tunafikanga hapo, but it is inevitable. It happens because you spend a lot of your time with these people at the office more than you spend the time at home. That's another reason, you see. So you start speaking, oh, my partner is like this, like this, like this. Oh, leo amenikasirisha. Oh, leo hajafanya hivi. Oh, leo sijui ametupa nguo. Oh, leo sijui ameniongelesha vibaya. Oh, this guy or this chick goes out, comes back home drunk, blah, 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 doesn't talk to me, doesn't cook, doesn't clean, doesn't... All of the yapping that you're saying about your partner, you need to know that your other person is listening. And as time continues by, they start consoling you by the virtue that they are making it look like they're better than your partner. In that moment, as you're thinking, oh, this guy, oh, hata ni mzuri kushinda mtu wangu, nini 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 nini, it is just a delusion. I'm speaking to people that are married and are in a relationship and still choose to sleep around at the office. Guys, this is how it starts, you know. So utashinda hapo ukiambia huyo mtu, and this person will twitch your words and make sure they're exactly the opposite of who you're talking about, and they will give you a shoulder to cry on, and you will find comfort in it. And before you know it, you're in a romantic relationship at the office with some chick, with some dude, and you have a partner. And make it make sense. It is such a messy situation to be in, especially for people that are in a relationship. You see, if you're single and the other guy is also single and you meet at the office, oh, sure, that can turn to something. Like, I don't know. I've never heard of someone that they were both single, like sijasikia, unless mniambia hapo kwa comment section like, oh, me, I started my relationship with my boo and it may work, like we work together. I've not heard of it yet. So if you're someone mwenye umekuwa kwa relationship and you met your person at work, you guys are both single, decided to mingle and it's working, Please let us know, and at least we need you in this podcast because Miss Jaskia Bado. Anyway, so back to my 1-2s. So that's how you people that are in a relationship end up in romantic relationships at work. And it gets so messy. Guys, it gets so messy. I wouldn't even wish that on anyone. Like anyone. I would not wish it on anyone. Like, I have learned my lesson. I think others have learned their lessons as well. Like, work is just crazy, 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 crazy. Anyway, so we're going to talk about another thing as well. So hizi romantic relationships, unafikiria watu huenda ku have intercourse wapi? Just take a wild guess. I don't think hata it's a wild guess kwa BNBs. Hey, guys, yani, I cannot even blame Nairobi because this happens everywhere. Like, before niongelee hii topic, nilikaa chini nikaangalia hadi offices zingine like across like the world and cities and different cities, and people also do it like it runs across the world. This is not a Kenyan thing. It's like an international proper thing, So people leave the office for like a lunch break or I don't know, a morning break. I don't know how I don't know how the routine works everywhere because in some states outside of Kenya, there's enough time for you to leave for like lunch and then go for like lunch in this case and get back to the office now when na siku and leave the office and get back home to your wives and to your husbands. Hmm? Guys, it's a national wide problem. Yani, it is an international problem. It is an international problem. Alafu on top of it, mtu asemee, it's inevitable. Inevitable? I think loyalty is a choice. Like, you choose to be loyal and loyal and loyal. So if umeenda kwa BNB uingie kwa hao, hiyo ni decision pia yako. Mi hata siko hapa kujudge. Na pia kama mtu ako single, they also have the same opportunity, imagine. Like, kama mtu ako single ajaona huyo msee ametoka kwake, huyo msee ametoka kwake, unaingia job, maybe pia nyinyi mnaamua 1 hour of lunch, you go to the BNB, do your thing and come back. Hey, that's romantic relationships at work. That is romantic relationship at work. Alafu ikue watu hawajui mko kwa romantic relationships at work. It takes a lot of sneaking. Like a lot of sneaking. Mbona nacheka? I don't know. Maybe tu ni funny. But it takes a lot of sneaking. June, imagine nobody at the office knows. So I'm speaking for people when, for example, your office does not allow romantic relationships kwa ofisi. Si huwa mna sneak hadi unajiambia too much sneaking. Don't you think so? Yeah, I think so. I think iko na a lot of sneaking, especially when people don't know. I don't know kama you're the sneaking, you're the thrill. Ama that is what is keeping you like going. Because I don't know, ebu mtu aniambie, do you think it is fun to sneak around at the office when you have a romantic relationship with someone? Ama it is better for you to just be in the open ndio muendelee na shughuli zenu. You just get it out of the way and just, okay, sawa, tumejulikana, that's fine, tuendelee. But kujulikana comes with a lot of gossip as well. So sijui, I don't know what you picking. Sijui mtapick nini. So let me know. this nakwambia hii topic iko na a lot of tea. So story time before nimalize na my lessons. Story time. So there was this one time at a different office that I was working. So one of the bosses aliamua kwenda lunch, and kulikuwa na kasichana karembo, so quiet. I don't want to describe her so much, but kulikuwa na kadem fulani. So this time alikuwa kwa ofisi ingine. So one time, like, these are two people that hungewahi fikiria wanaweza cross paths. I don't know kama, I think, here's my perspective before niendelee na story. Unaona kwa setting ya ofisi, the people that you least expect to be involved, au umdhanie sie ndiye, au yani you would never, at least for the guys, kuna kwanga tu na wale wanaume wenye wanajulikana, huyu by the way anakulanga tu kwa ofisi, you know. Hakuna kitu mbaya kama kujulikana with such reputation. Yeah, it's a bad thing. Like unajulikananga tu huyu chali bere, unaingia tu kwa ofisi unaambia jichunge na huyu jichunge na huyu kweli kwa ofisi. You have no shame. You're just, anyway. So these people you would yani ungewahi fikiria that hao watu wawili utawapata. Sawa. So our office, my previous office, like previous sijui ku explain, but mali nilikuwa na kitambo, kulikuwa na, iko surrounded by many restaurants and hotels and like motels, and it was situated like place central, so you could be able to, you know, go for lunch anywhere, you know, have a good time, and it was a nice place. So tell me why some guy some colleague anatembea ametoka kukula lunch. So there was this joint that used to have like what are they called, accommodations and lounges. So there was a lounge, and then there was a place where you could eat and have whatever, and then sleep, take rest, you know, bed and breakfast sort of place. So this guy goes for lunch one time, anaona dinga ya huyo mdosi. Okay, so in your head you're thinking, wacha nikule ni nini nikiona ule jamaa akipita manze nimsalimie ni nini, you know, like in your head you would never think like umse anashuka hivi kwa stairs na msupa fulani na ni lunch time on a weekday, siku ya job. So chali amengoja, anasema akajiambia by the way labda umse amekawia, so let me nitoke. Akiwa hivi anaingia kwenye gari yake, huyu jamaa mdosi anashuka hivi stairs from the rooms. This is a lot of tea. Anashuka, I will call him Mr. Cap. So Mr. Cap anashuka chini na Mrs. Mufasa. Mrs. Mufasa in this case is a chick. So anashuka na Mrs. Mufasa anamfuata. Wanaingia kwa gari, wanarudi kwa office. In short, I'm trying to say there's a lot of sneaky behavior kwa office. Yeah, so I don't know, yani sijui niwaambie nini, because I think dating kwa office iko na both, you can dive into both worlds. Tuseme wewe na chali yako mshajulikana mna date kwa office, like yani hakuna mtu sasa anaweza waambia like sasa tuna date alafu you know. So the perks of it for me, I think, is that you leave the office with your boyfriend, like mnachukua kwa nyumba pamoja, you know, you get to the office. It's ni kitu enye unaweza furahia if it is a legal thing. Okay, unaweza ifurahia if it is a legal thing, but ni kama ni kitu ya kuibia, kuonja nini, you're not serious, maybe you're sneaking, maybe tu ni ile vibe tu kidogo, then I don't know where the fun is in it. But kaa iko out in the open, like watu wanajua nini nini, you can find a way to manage it and ujitoe like from the whole fiasco of like, oh, this is corporate, this is job, sijui nini, so acha nijifiche. You'll get yourself out of it. But if it is kitu ya kuonjaonja, ile ya kuiba, inakuanga na a lot of chaos. Even let me know about it, because that's my thought actually. That's my thought, because that's crazy. That's crazy. So another thing mtu aliniambia pia ni ati you do a lot of these office relationships because you're trying to compare whatever is at home and whatever is in the office. Like you feel like, hey, huyu mtu wako kwa ofisi amejituma sana na ule wangu maybe hajajituma vile. It's crazy because you never know what people are going through at the office. You know? You never know. Juu inaweza kwa huko ni kubad na huko nyumbani ni kubeta. Think about it. That's my thinking. Another thing with office relationships, jealousy, wivu, kiwaru, that's a hot potato that slides here, guys. Inapitanga hapa. There's so much jealousy. There's so much jealousy. Like kila saa unafikiria huyu mtu wako anaongea na a pretty girl or a pretty chick or a handsome dude or a dude mwenye anamwongelesha. Your mind inafikiria tu anatika mtu wangu. That kind of jealousy is insane. Na ni kitu enyewe, I think mtu can't help it. I don't think someone can help it. Like, you see, if your hubby is working in a different office organization and you uko pali pengine, it gives you a chance for you to interact with people and interact with watu. You meet at home, you share ideas, comparison, nini nini. You know, aina mambo mingi. But when you're in the same office, una overthink and jealousy consumes you and you wouldn't know how to control it because uko constantly in the face of your person over and over and over and over again. I think it breeds jealousy. And it's jealousy that is not intended by your partner or by yourself. You just find yourself immersed in it. Like hata kaa ujisikii, unajipata tu umeingia hapo juu unasikia vibaya na nini na nini na nini. Right? My other point would be that a lot of romantic relationships at the office can really tamper with your work. I don't know, maybe people know how to balance. It can really tamper with your work. How so? One, it can make you really, really comfortable. Like, inaweza kufanya usahau unafanyanga kazi. I don't know. Like, it's, unaona senye una hustle peke yako. Ukihustle peke yako unakuanga na drive. Inakaa hivi. That's the goal. That's where I'm going. Yani unakuanga hivi. You know? When you're in a relationship with your person uko kwa ofisi, unaanza kurelax, kuna tendency ya kurelax kidogo because you think, oh, he got me, I got him. Punguza hiyo tabia. Kama umechoose kudate kwa ofisi, the focus must remain the same. Keep your head high. Endelea na focus yako. Alright? Isikuwe ati, oh, sasa mmetulia. Even the both of you sasa, I'm hustle as hard. Mnaanza kutosheka tu na venye kuko. You're like, oh, we work together, we live in the house, we go, blah, 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 blah. You know? Give yourself some bit of oomph. Some oomph kidogo. I think that's my 2 cents. That is my 2 cents. Before I finish, I'm going to give you one last story time. And this story time, I want to leave you guys hanging kwa sababu nikiwapatia too much information, some people will know huyu anapiga story yangu kumbe. Well, don't care, but we're not friends. But we're talking about relationships kwa ofisi yawa. What else do I do? It's the content. Anyway, so give it a scenario. You're working at the same office. You choose, okay, because I've been dating. I'm going to use myself. So because I've been dating myself. No, that's not what I'm saying. English kidogo hapo imekataa. I was not dating myself. I have been dating this guy. Let me call him Art. So I've been dating Art, and then me and Art decide this thing of ours is not working. So we need to break it off. Mwachane. Yeah? If you can see where I'm getting with this. Mwachane. So tumeachana na Art, we decide, okay, sawa, we call it quits, nini, mutual, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Art decides to start dating Phone Case kwa ofisi sasa. Remember, I am Art's ex. So again, mko kwa ofisi moja with your ex, and your ex is starting another romantic relationship at the office tena na uko hapo. Just picture what a mess that is. Just where hata imagine vile kunakaa. Would you recommend? I highly would not. Like, I would not, because si imagine vile umekaa hapo. Kwani tuko Love Island? Why am I seeing my ex? Nikipenduka hivi naona ex wangu, nikipenduka hivi naona girlfriend yake. Ongeza, wewe na Art, you are dating, you're pregnant, you have a child with Art, and then Art has a child with Phone Case kwa ofisi moja. So, wewe na your co-wife, because at this point, you have a child, she has a child. In what way are you not co-wives? We nieleze. Just make me understand. Si hapo mnyinyi ni co-wives, mko kwa ofisi moja na mnalea mtoto wa huyo mtu mmoja, alafu huyo mtu mmoja aachane na nyinyi wote wawili. Let me tell you something. Let me hold your hand when I say this. At the end of the day, every single day, as long as we are above the earth, that man, yako tu sawa. He can easily work and work and work and work, and that will never bother him. But we Phone Case na wewe at work, the two of you, nyi mtakuwa na mashina kaji. That happens. It happens. So you need to be very careful about these romantic relationships at work, because they go anyhow. Yani inaweza enda venye inataka. Inaweza enda poa, which nimesema mimi sijaisikia. So I would like if someone anaweza niambia story yake ya enye ili work out na iko poa. Like, it didn't have vitu zote zenye nimesema. I would really like kama msee anaweza niambia hivyo. Then it would make much more sense, because I've created every scenario I could think about, na bado kuna kames mahali. Like, with romantic relationships at work, huwezi kosa kitu kukua haywire. Yani kitu inaweza enda tu left na iende left na iende left na iende left completely. So I think that is my insights about romantic relationships at work. Like, inaweza kwa ngori, nataka mtu aniambie nyake imekuwa poa. I have one last scenario because we're about to close it. So there's this guy alikuwa ananiambia story yake. So yeye he was married. And then kwa ofisi akapatana na dem fulani mwenye hakuwa anajua huyo dem ni neighbor wake mtaani. So so one day he meets this chick kwa ofisi nini nini, they link up, kawaida romantic relationship, sindio? And then before they got into the romantic relationship, they met tena wapi? Home. They were literally neighbors. Like, the chick is married, the nigga is married. Yani, it was, anyway, I'm just giving the tea ahead of the tea. So this guy akaamua, because since we are neighbors and we are colleagues and whatnot, it grew into familiarity, nini, comparison, blah blah blah, nini. They chose to link up, and they were having a romantic relationship at the office for a long time. Guess what? Just guess. These people decide they are all going to leave their partners, and they eloped. Wakaeloped. Wakaend. They eloped. They went together. They did a Rora show and got married. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said it. So no matter nasema romantic relationship kwa ofisi, it can go anyhow. Like however risk you choose to take, inaweza enda left, inaweza enda right, but you cannot avoid the mess. Yani huwezi avoid your mess, iko tu hapo. Anyway, thank you for coming to my podcast. Thank you for listening. I hope this was engaging. I hope this was entertaining. Let me know your thoughts. Niambie kama yako imewak. Let me know hapo chini. If you have a story time, let me know hapo chini, tutachambua on my Instagram and on my YouTube. You can comment and let me know all about the tea of romantic relationships at the office. I will see you again on the next episode. Bye.